Ooh, what is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. We got another reaction. Deadly bar fights ends with two sisters dying days apart. Now, I never heard this one, man, so I don't know nothing about this story. Already sounds crazy. So let's get into prayer. Lord, Heavenly Father, Jesus, please protect our mind, eyes, and ears listening to this type of content, watching this type of content. Protect us from all evil or demonic spirits that could come from any of this stuff. In your name I pray, amen. All right. You already know how we do over here, man. I don't like long intros, so let's get right to the content.
One of those shootings happened inside the Queen of Hearts pub on East Livingston Avenue earlier this morning.
Back to that deadly bar shooting from over the weekend. 10 Investigates has learned the city's attorney's office now planning to take legal action against the bar and property owners.
On September 25th, 2022, 30-year-old Shamira Rhodes' life took a tragic turn when she was allegedly shot and killed after a fight broke out near the Queen of Hearts pub. The violent altercation also left her 17-year-old sister, Katera Griffin, critically wounded, setting the stage for a heartbreaking series of events that would claim both sisters' lives just days apart. 28-year-old Amara Battle was arrested and charged with
Is this thing on? Can y'all hear me? Spiritual warfare. Look at her eyes, man. That don't even look like her. I don't know her to even say that, but that look right there, pure evil on her face.
murder, but the investigation remains ongoing as the family continues to seek justice for their devastating loss. Welcome to Urban Crime Stories. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on all notifications for upcoming episodes. Shamira Rhodes was born on July 9, 1992, in Paynesville, Ohio. Shamira proudly embraced her role as the first and oldest of all her siblings, often boasting about it with a sense of pride. Her family cherished her deeply, and she was especially close to her mother, Nicole. Shamira's early years were spent in Columbus, Ohio. She graduated from Walnut Ridge High School, marking the start of a path that would blend her natural talents with her creative passions. Shamira was known for her artistic soul, both as a visual artist and as a professional dancer, who loved the freedom of expressing herself through movement. Throughout her life, Shamira remained closely bonded with her younger sister, Katera Griffin. The two were inseparable, often described as best friends who were always together. Their connection went beyond typical sisterhood. They shared an unbreakable bond that defined much of their lives. Shamira's creative spirit and Katera's loyal support made them a formidable pair, and they were often seen laughing and enjoying life in each other's company. As adults, their relationship only deepened, with both sisters playing significant roles in each other's lives. Their closeness brought comfort and joy to their family, who admired how strong their bond was. By the age of 30, Shamira had become a mother to 3 beautiful children: Amir, Kai, and Amaya. Her family described her as a dedicated and loving mother who worked hard to ensure her children were always provided for. Shamira's commitment to her children was unwavering, and she did everything she could to give them a stable and happy life. Her vibrant personality, marked by her sarcastic humor and infectious deep laugh, filled their home with joy. Those close to her, including her friend Tiara Walton, often praised Shamira for her strength. Tiara described her as a warrior, someone who fought tirelessly to build a better future for herself and her children.
To have carried on in that space. So I'm not at peace because BB was 17 years old. And the entire situation as a whole doesn't leave you in a place of peace. But I have peace knowing that they passed in a space where they are together.
Katera Griffin, Shamira's sister, played an important role not just in Shamira's life, but in the lives of her children as well. As a loving and dedicated aunt, Katera was always there to support Shamira in raising her 3 children. However, the lives of Shamira, Katera, and their family took a devastating turn on September 25, 2022. What seemed like an ordinary day suddenly transformed into a tragic and life-altering event that no one could have foreseen. In an instant, the family's once happy existence was shattered, leaving them reeling from the aftermath of an unimaginable tragedy. This moment marked the beginning of a painful chapter in their lives, one that would test the strength of their bond and forever change the course of their future. On that Sunday morning, at around 4:30 a.m., Columbus police officers were dispatched to the 5500 block of East Livingston Avenue after receiving a report of a shooting. When they arrived, the officers discovered 2 female victims suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. The victims were identified as 30-year-old Shamira Rhodes and 17-year-old Katera Griffin, both of whom had been shot. Tragically, Shamira Rhodes was pronounced dead at the scene at 4:40 a.m. Her younger sister, Katera, was in critical condition and was immediately rushed to the hospital in a desperate attempt to save her life. Their mother, Nicole Rhodes, received the devastating news that her youngest daughter, Katera, had been shot. 2 of Katera's friends had arrived at Nicole's home to break the news. They believed that Katera had been taken to Grant Hospital for treatment. Overcome with fear and worry, Nicole tried to reach out to her older daughter, Shamira, via FaceTime to check on her and find out where she was. She made several attempts to contact Shamira, but received no response, which only added to her growing anxiety. As she was preparing to leave for the hospital, Katera's friends, still standing at her door, informed her that Shamira had also been shot. Upon arriving at the hospital, Nicole was ushered into a room where she was...
What a crazy, crazy way to find out that your oldest daughter was involved in the shooting as well. Trying to reach out to her to see, probably to let her know that the younger daughter was shot, and also to confirm to see, are you okay? To then find out that she was also involved. That's crazy, man. Wow.
Met by a doctor, detectives, a chaplain, and a social worker. The weight of the situation was overwhelming, as she learned that Katera was in critical condition and would require multiple surgeries. The realization that her youngest daughter's life was hanging in the balance was nothing short of heartbreaking. Nicole's world was crumbling around her as she struggled to comprehend the violence that had befallen both of her daughters. In the midst of this emotional turmoil, a detective approached Nicole with an unimaginable request. He needed her to describe her oldest daughter, Shamira, for identification purposes. Though shaken, Nicole provided the detective with a description of Shamira, hoping against hope that her daughter was somehow okay. But after hearing her words, the detective looked at her with a solemn expression and delivered the crushing news. Shamira had passed away. The weight of the loss was indescribable. In one morning, Nicole had gone from being the mother of 2 vibrant daughters to facing the unimaginable grief of losing one while fearing for the life of the other. The shooting not only shattered their family, but left an indelible scar on those who knew and loved Shamira and Katera. Shamira Rhodes was laid to rest on October 8, 2022, in a heartfelt ceremony that brought together her family and loved ones to mourn her loss. While grieving for Shamira, the family's focus remained on Katera Griffin, who was still in the hospital fighting for her life. Katera underwent a series of surgeries, 10 in total, as doctors worked tirelessly to save her. Gradually, signs of hope began to emerge. Her condition started improving. Doctors reduced some of her medications, and she was taken off the dialysis machine. Plans were even made to move her out of the ICU to a regular hospital floor, offering her family a glimmer of optimism in the midst of their grief. As Katera's health appeared to improve, she was even able to FaceTime her 2 best friends. They laughed and shared smiles, giving everyone a sense that she might recover from the horrific ordeal. This brief moment of joy seemed like a turning point, a sign that things were finally looking up. The family clung to this hope, grateful for any sign of Katera's resilience. Her fighting spirit, much like her sister Shamira's, shone through even in the darkest of times. However, this newfound hope was tragically short-lived, and just days later, Katera's condition took a devastating turn. Katera's organs began to fail. Her kidneys, heart, and liver shut down as her body could no longer sustain itself. Doctors informed her family that there was nothing more they could do. The weight of this news was unbearable, but Katera's parents had to make an impossible decision. On October 15, 2022, after acknowledging that Katera had already suffered so much, her family decided to take her off life support. It was a heartbreaking moment as they had to let go of the daughter they had fought so hard to save. Katera passed away peacefully.
Real quick, I want to talk about that because too many people put their hands in the doctors or the fate of their children or their loved ones in the hands of the doctors. Let me rephrase that. And sometimes, they push you because insurance will only cover for a certain period of time. So see, for y'all that don't understand, like some people, they've probably never been through anything like this, so they don't understand how it works. So they always say like, why did somebody give up so quickly? It's not that they gave up. A lot of times, your medical insurance won't cover but so long. And then when the medical insurance cuts off, the hospitals are basically like, listen, you're going to have to figure something out. They can't stay here. They either got to go to a hospice or they got to go somewhere, but they can't stay here. They're taking up a bed. And at that point, your loved one almost becomes no longer a person, but just a body, if that makes sense. Even though they're still technically alive, they're just a body to them at that point. So, I wanted to say that because there are some people that may not understand that or may have never experienced these type of situations. So they often think that the family just gave up, but a lot of times that's the case. But you can still fight. A lot of times you can try to find some additional insurance. It's not easy, but you can. And I think that anybody in this situation should find some type of additional insurance, figure out a way to keep them on life support, because a lot of times it's in God's hands, and sometimes he will bring these people back from things like just the fact that she even woke up and was able to FaceTime and do all of that stuff. You really never know. But sometimes you have to have real strong faith and believe and just try to hold on as much as you can. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is a sad one, man. This is a real sad story, y'all.
Leaving her family in profound grief. On October 28, 2022, Katera Griffin was laid to rest, just weeks after her sister Shamira. The loss of two daughters in such a short span left the Rhodes family shattered, with more questions than answers. While they tried to find some peace in knowing both Shamira and Katera were no longer in pain, the haunting question remained: who could commit such a cruel and senseless act? Two sisters, shot on the same day, had their lives tragically cut short, leaving their family and community grappling with an unimaginable loss. The search for answers, who was responsible and why, became the family's driving force in the wake of this double tragedy. During the investigation into the tragic deaths of Shamira Rhodes and Katera Griffin, the Columbus Police Department identified 28-year-old Amara Battle as a suspect. She was formally charged with murder in connection with the shooting that took Shamira's life. According to the authorities, Amara and Shamira were acquaintances, but not particularly close friends. The incident that led to the fatal shooting occurred after a fight broke out, and investigators believe Amara played a significant role in the altercation. This development marked a turning point in the investigation as police moved forward with charges against Amara. The shooting took place outside the Queen of Hearts pub, where the argument escalated into violence. Following the incident, the city attorney's office announced plans to file contempt charges against the bar and its property owner. This legal action was part of the city's broader efforts to hold establishments accountable when violent incidents occur on or around their premises. By targeting the Queen of Hearts pub, the city aimed to send a message that bars and clubs must take greater responsibility in preventing violence and ensuring the safety of their patrons. Despite the progress made in identifying and charging a suspect, the case remains cold in certain aspects. There is still a lack of clarity regarding the full details of the altercation, and what exactly led to the senseless violence. For Shamira and Katera's grieving family, the pursuit of justice continues as they wait for answers about what truly transpired and why their loved ones were taken from them in such a brutal manner. The search for truth and closure remains elusive. Thank you for watching this episode of Urban Crime Stories. Please share your thoughts about this tragic story in the comments down below. Remember, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on all notifications for upcoming episodes. Your support is greatly appreciated. Until next time, I will see you with another episode of Urban Crime Stories.
All right, so there y'all have it, man. Hopefully they get some justice, man. It seems like they still haven't figured out all the pieces. I don't know how. I mean, 2 years ago and still no real answers is madness. But I'm gonna look more into this case myself just to see, you know, what all transpired, and if there's any more things going on. If I find out any information, I will do an update. Now, when I do the update, I'm not going to really react to anything. I'll probably just like put it in the community post along with a picture of the thumbnail for this video, just for anybody that, you know, kind of wanted to know what happened. But again, this is Urban Crimes. So if you guys are interested in watching any of the content, oh, my bad, this side, my bad. Hold on, let me show y'all. You see it? Urban Crime Stories. So if you're interested in watching any of this content for yourself, go ahead and go over to the channel, subscribe, and check it out. Check out what they got going on. It's the same channel, as you can see, where I watched the honey trap video from. So I'm out, y'all. Tell me what y'all think about this one in the comment section below. That being said, I'm out. Peace.